Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Anna and I'm a knitter and maker based in Seattle, Washington. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about the Block Fiber Festival. I'm sure you've already heard about the festival from probably a few of your favorite knitting content creators, but since I live in Seattle, I went to the festival a couple weeks ago, the first weekend of August. And just wanted to talk to you a little bit about my experience and show you some of the things that I picked up. So, Block Fiber Festival, it was put on by La Mercerie, which is a lovely little yarn store on Bay Bridge Island, which is just outside of Seattle, across Puget Sound on an island not very far away. And they put the festival on, and the festival was Friday through Sunday, the first weekend of August, at Magnuson Park, which is in northeast Seattle. It's a beautiful park, and they had a lovely event space that they put it on in. So it was great. I went on Saturday and had a lovely time. My mom came up. She was in California and she came up to spend the weekend with me and go to the festival. And we had a really great time. On Friday, we did all sorts of fun things together. We went to the thrift store, we went to the chocolate factory and did like a little chocolate tasting, and we went to dinner and we went shopping and we had a great time, and I'm so glad she could be here with me because it's always more fun to do knitting and fibery things with friends, I feel like, or family, or just people. I feel like it's a good opportunity to gather. And I feel like Flock was also a great opportunity to gather and to meet people, and I really had a good time. So we ended up going on Saturday, and we didn't get our tickets ahead of time. There was like kind of a little bit of stress about tickets. The event sold tickets ahead of time and then they ran out of tickets. So there was like pre-sale tickets and day of tickets, and the pre-sale tickets could get in at 10 a.m. and then the like day of general admission tickets you could get in at noon. So we just ended up going at noon. We got breakfast at my favorite breakfast place in the morning, and then took the bus over. I live in Northwest Seattle, so like if Seattle is kind of shaped like this, I live over here and the festival was over here. So we took the bus across, and we got to the festival a little after noon, and we didn't have to wait very long, maybe like 10 or 15 minutes in line to get in. But as the day went on, there was like no line after a little while. So it was really easy to get in, super fast. And my mom and I decided we were just gonna do a lap of the whole thing before we decided what to buy, so we could see whatever all was there. And then we would pick out what we were gonna take home with us. And I went in kind of knowing that I wanted to buy some fiber, some like unspun fiber, because as I'm sure you've seen, lots of people have been picking up spinning recently. I feel like a lot of people that I follow especially have been like getting a little bit more into spinning, which is fun. And I'm always inspired by Anna from Brook Willow, who has been spinning for a while, and I love her style and I think she's lovely, and she has been spinning recently and lots of people have been spinning. And I've spun before when I was younger. I remember having a drop spindle, and I have like a memory of spinning on my drop spindle some like purple fiber. I don't remember if I spun it or my mom spun it, but there was a drop spindle at my house. I feel like I did it, but I don't know. But anyway, I had my mom bring my drop spindle with her when she came, so she brought it with her, and I wanted to get some fiber to do a little bit of spinning just for fun, just to try something new, work my hands in a different way. So I went in for that, and then I was looking for a main color. So my last video, I talked to you about these mini skeins that my mother-in-law had brought back from Scotland. I said they were Kinross 4-ply, but they're actually JC Rennie. So that was on me. I like looked into it after and I was like, wait a second, these are JC Rennie, but it's this beautiful kind of spectrum of colors that goes from like a neutral to light and dark neutrals, and then there's some greens. And everyone left me great comments to do the Paul Klee sweater by Midori Hirose, which I'll put a photo of here, which is a great idea because I've had it in my favorites for a long time and I just didn't think of it, but it's a perfect idea of what to use that yarn for. So I went to the festival knowing that I wanted to get some fiber and I wanted to get a main color yarn to use with those mini skeins to make the Paul Klee sweater. So that's what I was going for. I was also maybe looking for like a sock set, some hand-dyed yarn. So that's what I was looking for. Excuse me. And my mom was looking for a spindle. She wanted a different spindle because she has one at home, but she doesn't love it. And she's been spinning some yarn that she had. And then I think she was just looking for some like rusty colored yarns. So that's what we went in looking for, and we did a lap of the whole place, and I'll just talk to you about some of the things that I saw that I really liked but didn't end up getting, and then I'll show you what I did end up getting at the end. So there were lots of great vendors at the show, so many beautiful things. It was like a little bit overwhelming. But yeah, we had a great time and saw so many pretty things. So just some highlights from the Porter Wool Co. booth. They had this beautiful yak sock base that I really liked. That was 70% superwash merino, 20% yak, and 10% nylon in the colorway eucalyptus that I'll put a picture of. I like took pictures of things as we were walking around that I really liked. And then I could go back to them if I wanted. So that was really pretty. In the La Mercerie booth, they had La Bien-Aimée, they had Spin Cycle, and then they had this brand called Woolberry Fiber Co., which I hadn't heard of before, and they had a really pretty sock set called Burrow. That was an 80% superwash merino nylon. It was like this, it's this gorgeous pinky base with orangey browns in it, and a lovely white contrast color. That was super pretty. I really liked at the botanical yarn booth. This isn't a yarn, but this is something I took a picture of because I thought it was so gorgeous. They had this crocheted blanket that looks like a quilt. It's stunning. There's no pattern for it. I looked it up afterwards because I was like, I really like this. It's just called Crochet Star Blanket. And it's made by a woman called Tipsie Terry. And I've looked at her Instagram since, and there's no like written pattern for this, but she shows you how to make the little kind of half colored crochet squares. So you can just make a bunch of squares and then piece them together like this quilt. But I just thought this was absolutely stunning, and I would really like to make it in the future. I'm not a huge crocheter, but I know how, and I definitely think there are some things that are better suited to crochet than knitting, and this is just so gorgeous, and I would really like to make one in the future. It's kind of like the Battenberg blanket, but if the Battenberg blanket was more like a traditional star quilt, it's very gorgeous. So that I just like had to remember because it was very beautiful. I also saw a lot of alpine bloom tees. I asked my mom when we were on the way, I was like, what are we going to see the most of? Like, what patterns are people going to be wearing? I saw a lot of alpine bloom tees by Caitlin Hunter. I saw quite a few anchor tees by Petite Knit. Saw some cumulus blouses. Lots of mini mock neck tanks from from Park and Knit. So just of the knitting trends that I saw in real life. Anyway, back to things that I really liked. Ballyhoura Fibers, which is not a brand I've ever heard of before. They're from Ireland, but they came and brought really stunning hand-dyed yarns. And the color that I liked the most was called Echinacea Supreme. It is absolutely gorgeous. And this one that I'm looking at was the non-superwash merino fingering base. It was just 100% merino wool. And it's gorgeous. I love the it's very much my color palette, like very earthy neutrals with pretty greens. There was so much beautiful yarn at the Wooldreamers booth. I'm like they have Wooldreamers Mota, they had like Saona, which is the collaboration with Ozetta. They had Manchelopis, which is the Wooldreamers unspun yarn, which I was really tempted by because, you know, I love an unspun yarn. But they had a whole booth, and they had these beautiful baskets, which I don't think I have a picture of, but these beautiful handmade baskets that were like handmade from this woman's village in Kenya. It was so beautiful. And then I really liked this. This was the first fiber that I saw that caught my eye. It's the Gray Drizzle Fibers Polwarth Fiber Minis. And the color that I liked was called Cloud Cover. It's this really pretty kind of moody purple with like these reddish orangey tones through it. That was very gorgeous. There was some really beautiful fiber that I almost got that was from the Gulf Coast native breed. It doesn't look like much, it's just white fiber. But I was watching a video by Anna of Brookwillow, and she had talked about this, I think it's the Livestock Conservancy, how they have a list of like endangered sheep breeds that you can buy from, try and support the endangered sheep breeds so that the shepherds that keep these flocks of kind of endangered Native American, like native to the United States sheep breeds can stay alive. And I remember Gulf Coast Native was one on those lists. So I kind of regret not getting this fiber because I think it's gorgeous, and I would like to support that initiative in the future. I think it's called Spin 'em to Save 'em is the initiative. I'll leave a link down below so you can look into it more, and I'll link to Anna's video where she talks about it as well. But I spied that and thought it was really lovely. The show colorway at the Miss Babs booth was really pretty. I think it's called Salt Air. It's this kind of like purpley, pinky, bluey, speckly marley yarn. It's gorgeous. Yeah, that's what I really like. There was also a booth there that I loved her colors. I didn't end up taking photos. I kind of got like caught up in everything. But it was from Coats & Co. Fiber, who is a hand dyer based in Cincinnati, Ohio. And she has the most beautiful, like very solid hand-dyed yarns in these gorgeous kind of poppy, punchy colors. She had this really cute sock set that was gorgeous. She had knit up some sample socks and these kind of like, they were like brights, but more muted. I don't know, soft neons or something. I don't know how to describe them, but they were very cute. She had beautiful colors, and I really liked her stuff. What else did I like that I saw? Sewrella yarns, I want to say it is. They had like a build your own mini skein set. They had some really beautiful colors. So yeah, that's just like, there were so many lovely booths and so many more vendors there that I didn't mention that were great. And it was, the reason I wanted to go to the show was to like look at new yarns and discover new people to follow and to be inspired by and to purchase from in the future. So that's why I find these festivals and events so lovely, is because you can just learn more about people in the knitting community in real life and touch things and squish them and see the colors in real life and figure out how they work. So yeah, that's what I liked. I didn't end up getting a sock set because I really prefer non-superwash socks. I made a pair of socks with Sunness Garn Sisu earlier this year, which is a superwash, very standard, like 80/20 superwash merino nylon. And I just don't like the feel of the superwash yarn, especially after it's been washed. I just don't really like it. And so I was looking for some non-superwash yarn with nylon, because I've knit a lot of non-superwash no nylon socks and they get holes in them very easily. So I was looking for a non-superwash no nylon non-superwash yarn, sock yarn with nylon, and I didn't see it anywhere in the festival, so I didn't end up getting a sock set. But I did get some fiber, which I'll show you first. By the way, I've started spinning it. This is all I have so far. And it's a little uneven. This is like my first spin in a very long time, but I really like it. It's very cute. And this is what I got. I got 2 ounces of this fiber. It's a Jacob Icelandic cross. The sheep's name was Shelton, which I think is very cute. And it's from Skagit Woolen Works, which is kind of local to me. Skagit Valley is just north of Seattle. It's kind of the Mount Vernon area where they have the Tulip Festival. It's really beautiful up there, and we go often, well, not that often, we go at least once a year up to the Tulip Festival and stuff. But I really like this yarn. If you know me, I do really like Icelandic wool, and I thought this would be a good beginner spinning yarn because the staple length of Icelandic wool is quite long, and from what I know about spinning, which is not a ton, longer staples are better to help learning because you can draft longer pieces and it doesn't fall apart as easily, whereas like something like a merino, which I feel like a lot of people end up starting with because it's beautiful and there's lots of beautiful hand-dyed fibers that are merino. Merino has a really short staple, which just means that the hairs of the sheep are really short. It's harder for them to grab onto each other and twist. So it's harder to be a beginner using merino, which is why I got this. So I'll show you again the color. It's kind of a natural sheep's gray, very pretty. I have 2 ounces of fiber, which is just over 50 grams. So I feel like I'll end up with like 40-ish grams of spun up singles. And since then I ordered some white fiber on Etsy that I decided I'm gonna apply the white fiber and this gray fiber together to kind of like a marled yarn. So that's my plan for the fiber. I mean, so far we have this much of a start. It's not very much. I have a long way to go, but I'm really enjoying it. This is a bottom whorl spindle. And yeah, that's where I'm at in my spinning journey. We can talk more about it in a future video, but yes, that's my spindling. And then I got the San Juan Woolworks. I got 3 skeins of this, but I'll hold up 2. San Juan Woolworks Selkie yarn. This is another local to me yarn. The San Juan Islands are in Northwest Washington, kind of up by Canada. There's an archipelago of islands. And the person who runs San Juan Woolworks keeps their flock up there. These are BFL, 100% BFL cross yarns. So it's from Oak Knoll Farm in the San Juan Islands, and it says who like shaved the sheep and where it was spun. It was spun at the Abundant Earth Fiber Mill on Whidbey Island, so it's very local to me. This is like all within 200 miles of my house, which isn't super close, but like decently close. And this is a sport weight, another natural sheep's gray, but it's kind of like a grayish brown. I really like it. I think it's super pretty. I got 3 skeins of this, which is, so it's 320 yards, which is about 300 meters for 100 grams. So I'm hopeful that that will be enough to do the body of my Paul Klee sweater. But yeah, I think it's gorgeous. I also love the label on this yarn. I think it's beautiful. And the woman at the booth told me that the way that her yarns are labeled is about the fiber blend. So she had some like beautiful naturally dyed colors and then different blends of fiber from different sheeps. But I just think this is so pretty, and I'm really excited to knit with it. It's definitely rustic, but if you know me, I don't mind a rustic. And I think it's beautiful, and I loved the opportunity to support a local shepherd and use yarn that comes from the place where I live that I love so much. So yeah, there's my little silk yarn. So this is all I got. I feel like it was pretty modest. It was still a fair amount of money that I spent, but I'm happy with what I got, and I feel like it was a good stash addition without being like overwhelming. And yeah, my mom got a spindle. She did end up getting one. She got a beautiful handmade Turkish drop spindle from Northwest Yarns, if I remember correctly. It's beautiful and handmade. I'm gonna have her send me a picture so I can show it to you. But she talked to the lady who was using it, and she showed her all about it, and she started spinning some yarn with it, and I think she really likes it. So that's very exciting. And that's all she got. She didn't find anything else that she was like super drawn to. But yeah, so that's what we ended up getting at Flock. I also had a chance to meet quite a few of you at the festival, which was so nice. So thank you to everyone who came up to say hello. It was really lovely to meet you and say hello and see your beautiful knitwear. So shout out to Sunshine, Mallory, Mackenzie, Debbie, and May, who came up to me and said hi, and had a little chat. It was lovely to meet you all. And I really appreciate seeing you there, and thank you for watching my videos. It was really fun to chat with you and see what you got. So yeah, it was great. And I also got to meet Marlene, my friend Marlene, who came to Seattle from Germany to visit her friend Chelsea and now my new friend Chelsea. And we got to chat and knit, and I saw her on Saturday. I saw her again on Sunday. We got ice cream. She's darling. I'll put a picture of us here. We look very cute together, but we had a great time, and it was great to get to meet some of my online knitting friends in real life. So overall, it was a great experience. I'm excited for next year. I think it'll be really fun. I think it's going to be even bigger next year. I heard that they're planning on moving it to the Seattle Convention Center. So I feel like from what I've watched of other people's videos of Knit City Montreal, that's like what I'm kind of gauging we'll have next year at Flock, which is very exciting. So if you want to come on down. I think it's going to be great. And in the meantime, I have a lot of knitting and spinning to do. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Just hearing a little bit about my Flock experience and showing you what I picked up. So I will speak to you again very soon. Thanks again for watching, and have a great rest of your day.